I'm Dr. Carole Haynes. I'm a National Education Policy Analyst. My doctorate's in Education and Curriculum. I work a great deal with state and national lawmakers and do a lot of speaking and writing and run across some very interesting conversations and some very interesting people. With us today, we have one of the most interesting.
I'm Maximus Spartacus. I don't know if I'm one of the most interesting, but I'm a West Point graduate. I had about 11 deployments in my 20-year Army career, and I have a master's from the School of Hard Knocks from all the deployments that I've had. But speaking of schools, Carole, I know you are an expert in education, and I have 4 nephews and nieces, and you know, when I ask them what are they studying these days, it's changed a lot since I was in school. It used to be we had an actual chalkboard, and now everything seems like it's these tablets. And I just wanted to know, from your standpoint as an expert in education, what kind of impact does this have on our children today?
You know, Max, it's having a very negative impact on our students. The Silicon Valley corporations have really sold a bill of goods to our lawmakers in every state. They're saying, if your students are going to achieve more, then they must have technology. They cannot just have the traditional education. They also are supposed to be more prepared for the 21st century world. And you know, that's not proving to be true. All the research is showing that achievement is going down, that students are coming down with screen addiction, they are less able to focus, their reading comprehension is lower, their reading and math scores on international tests are lower. And it's interesting because the Silicon Valley parents apparently do not understand that their children are supposed to achieve more by technology in their schools, because they don't allow their children to go to schools that have technology in there. All computers are banned. They use colored chalk, they use chalkboards, they use hardbound books, they use paper and pencil, and they don't even let their children have cell phones. Bill Gates was notoriously adamant about his children not having cell phones, smartphones, until they were at least 14. Steve Jobs did not let his own children have the iPads.
That's fascinating. So what you're telling me is basically, with this increase in using technology as a crutch, it seems to actually be decreasing the educational experience.
It is, in fact. The research is showing that screen time is being connected to not only screen addiction, but even psychosis, aggression, ADHD, more bipolar disorders, and children under 10 are especially susceptible to screen addiction, Max. And our schools are pushing computers on pre-K students.
Wow. Well, that's pretty disturbing, Carole, I have to say. Are there any solutions to this problem?
Oh, there's a great solution, Max. Go back to the traditional way. If it's good enough for Silicon Valley parents, how come it's not good enough for our children? Let's get back to what was working, what has worked for centuries. Let's get back to traditional education. Get rid of the digital learning in the classrooms. This is also how they're indoctrinating the children, because they're doing brain mapping with his computers. Now, that's another story for another day that's very interesting. We can address that at another session. But let's get back to the traditional. Let's get back to paper and pencil. Let's get back to hardbound books. And let me tell you what, on the government websites, they're literally saying, let's go to technology because it costs so much to keep replacing these traditional textbooks, because they're constantly going out of date. They're not going out of date. If you listen to veteran teachers, they saying, math is math. We can add in lessons on statistics, and we can add in the new things on science. But you have the traditional history. You've got all of these things in literature. Much of everything the children learn is timeless. Even the math, even the art is timeless. It's the same thing out there. Music is music. Art is art.
Well, I really appreciate you enlightening me, Carole, and someday when I have children, I'm definitely going to be on my guard. So thank you once again.
Thanks.